Hey everyone, Sal Crispo here from V10 Health. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about conscious unity. And I want to start off by saying that if you are ego driven, this topic will likely upset you, right? You know, the ego always wants to dominate when it's unhealthy. It wants to, control the body, control the soul, be the star of the show. And anytime you talk about, trying to get the ego to relinquish its power so that you become more, heart driven or spirit driven, the ego's going to fight you on it. And so I just ask that you try to keep an open mind and listen. And maybe this video will not, affect you today, but in the future, when you realize that, your ego is not leading you down a good path, a path that's going to help you live your life to the fullest, and then you can come back to it. For me, it's perfectly normal. Like, I went through it too. I mean, my ego didn't want to hear it. My ego didn't care to hear anything about spirituality, spiritual practices, or anything like that, because it's part of the process of evolving as a human being. You get that resistance to change, right? And you spend your whole life really developing your ego, developing this sense of self and individuality. And by thinking about and focusing on spirituality, you start to loosen and deconstruct the ego, and it doesn't like that. It feels very shaky, very weak, very threatened by the spirit. So hence the resistance. But for me, because it was a last-ditch effort, and I was just exhausted from fighting the depression, I finally was desperate enough to listen and to look into spirituality and most importantly, conscious unity. What is conscious unity? Conscious unity is something that really has gone unrecognized for many reasons. I think, first of all, it's because the like I said, the planet even is ego driven, right? So it's not something that really sells. It's something that I just think people in general don't understand it because it's really complex. So anytime something becomes difficult to understand, they just ignore it and move forward, move on to something that's a little bit more clear. Because we're talking about a different world. We're talking about our inner world, which you can't really see, right? In order for you to get in touch with the inner world, it's more of a meditative type practice. You gotta, go inward, right? You gotta journal. You gotta pray. You gotta sit with yourself. But we're too busy focusing on building our external world that this is something that just feel we don't have time for. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the best way to go, because you can, like Jesus said, you can gain the whole world and lose your soul. And and really that there's great truth to that. It's something you want to meditate on, because it's very, very deep. And I define conscious unity as, a connection to this great spirit that's, in the inner world. Of course, it's in the external world too, but the way you connect to it is first through, inner workings, right? Working on the self. And I think that creating this connection to the universe is such a leap forward for a person, because they admit to themselves that their ego isn't healthy, that their ego is not going to lead them to the happy, wonderful life that it always promises, usually through negative things like addictions, and through positive things like goal achievements, and which are great, but in and of themselves, they won't fill that inner void that you look to, fill with these things, right? If you're looking for true peace, joy, unconditional love, like all these wisdom, like all these things come from the inner world. They don't come from the external world. And right, so anyways, this is why I teach this, because in order for you to live fully, physically, mentally, and spiritually, this is one of the key factors. I mean, without it, you could lead a pretty good life, spiritual life. I'm not saying you can't, but it will take you from whatever. As an example, V5 to a V9 or 10, right? So it's really up to you how high you want to go on the spiritual scale, right? It's just like fitness. What's up to you? You want to be a V5? That's fine too. If you're happy with that, you could be a V5. You want to be a V7, then you aim for a V7, right? Some people, they want to go up higher. They want to go to V9 or V10. So I think if you want to get to the higher levels of spirituality, you definitely need to include conscious unity. So there are steps to becoming more conscious or attaining conscious unity, and I talk a lot more about it in my book, One Habit at a Time, and I actually go in a lot of detail in my forthcoming book, Healing Depression Holistically, and I do plan on making a YouTube video on these steps as well. But really, as I said in a previous video, conscious unity is, it's a hierarchy, right? So, the body, who's the workhorse of your performance team, is all the way at the bottom. And above that is the ego, or the mind, right? Who's the star player, who's the thinker, who can strategize and help the captain, which is the next level up, the soul, get what it wants, what it desires, right? So it's unique. Everybody has unique soul desires, and the mind and the body can help the soul get those. But who also can help the soul get those, and who has direct communication with the soul, is Great Spirit or the universe, right? And that's the coach. And if you want, you can have a coach that's all wise, that's all powerful, that's infinitely intelligent and extremely supportive, and gives you unbelievable spiritual strength. Or you cannot. You can choose to go at it yourself. You can choose to try to win the game of life on your own. It really is up to you. I just feel, like I said, if you want to reach the higher levels of spirituality, I highly recommend you look into and integrate conscious unity into your life. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another video. Bye for now.